Today on Suncoast View, downtown Sarasota merchants consider a marketing campaign, but which message can support all of the businesses? We'll discuss.
And the Ringling Museum has a large collection of art, but they're reaching over the Skyway Bridge for a partnership with other Tampa Bay artists.
There's a new health therapy here on the Suncoast, and it involves a common household item, salt. We'll learn all about salt therapy and its benefits. All that and more right now on Suncoast View.
And welcome to the show. Stephanie Roberts is off with her family this week, but Linda Carson is back from Ireland.
We're taking turns.
Yes, we got to get everybody together, and Linda Larson is with us, our favorite funny lady, motivational speaker. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
We are always happy to see you. I'm a little bit all night. Last night I was thinking Linda Larson, Linda Carson. Don't mess up the last names.
Hey, it's okay if you do. If John Scalzi does, it's a problem.
And I have. So I've called myself Linda Carson, so it's okay.
That's right.
Oh, that's okay with me, too.
And when you did that, it was on the show.
Yes, we actually have a blooper reel that is ready to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, it's going to be a fun day. And Linda Carson, we are so glad that you are back. How was Ireland?
You know, it was one of the best weeks of my life.
Really?
Really. It was awesome. There was not a bad moment, the whole thing. But I didn't sleep for all that time. I was in castles. Wow. Hey, I've got a bigger bedroom than they do in those castles. They were tiny, and the bathrooms are not upstairs. So try going down all that way to the bathroom.
You must really have to go then. If you have to go. Well,
Other than that, you're not going to hold it.
We're going to have more pictures and more stories from Linda's trip a little later on in the show. But Linda Larson, another world traveler. Now, I always like to check out your Facebook page and see what you're up to. And it isn't maybe one of the more exotic destinations, but I found something very interesting in one of your travels. A Starbucks that serves wine.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Where?
And where was I?
I think this was in Louisville. I think the Louisville airport?
I think it was.
Yes.
I think it was.
I'm watching you.
Yeah, thank you.
I need to go here.
Yeah, I have to check with John to see where I am, where I'm going to be. Yeah, I thought that was kind of fascinating. There seems to me they're branching out, and I got responses from other people that they have seen more of those too in other places around the country. So who knows?
You have a layover? You have to kill time somehow?
Yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning, hand me a glass of wine.
One of the two.
A latte, a Chardonnay, what's the difference, right?
Yeah. You get a kick.
Yes. All right, well, I love to follow your travels, and I know that wasn't one of the more exotic ones, but it still caught my eye. Well, something else that we've all been eyeing since he got here is Chef Paul from Madison's. What are we making today?
Hey, Joey, good morning. It's kind of Rosé Day again. Remember, a few weeks ago we did National Rosé Day, and so we've got a wine dinner coming up. I've been drinking rosé all summer because it's so light and refreshing. But we got a wine dinner coming up, and all the wines throughout the dinner are rosés. So we're going to cook one of the dishes today, which is a seared tuna, and talk about the different wines we'll serve with that dinner.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
And we might drink some of them, too.
You will be happy to know that we're getting very good at drinking rosé since we last saw you.
Good.
We've been practicing.
Excellent. Excellent.
Right,
We don't mind more practice, so pour up.
That's right.
It's always been my favorite.
Practice makes perfect. Well, we can't wait to join you later on in the show. Well, today, you know, we always say we celebrate strange holidays. We were actually ahead of the trend on this one. Last week, we celebrated today's holiday, which is National Emoji Day. You know, the little symbols that can replace words and texts. Our friend Kim Livingood from the Eclipse Agency brought in some amazing emoji-related gifts. More emoji than you thought you needed.
Yes.
Wow.
Linda Carson, you missed it,
Why
but
is a big thing?
Yes, but we have a surprise.
we have a little something for you.
So since you missed it, we wanted to make sure you get a gift.
A gift. Oh, my goodness.
Now, this is
Dare I open it?
This is courtesy Kim.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, the queen.
Oh, the queen. Oh, I'm so thrilled.
And it has your name on the side.
Oh.
No.
Yes.
Oh, it's got my name on it and a crown. What could be better?
Exactly.
And if I were a queen, I would make these mandatory. For all, look, you should see their shoes. I mean, 6-inch heels.
These are extremely comfortable. Eye slides are very big with the celebrities, and now they're personalizing them with emojis, so you have your
That's
own.
wonderful. I'm finally in style.
crown.
I'm glad I waited long enough.
And if you go to leave and you can't find them, Linda on the side?
Exactly.
Well, I'm just saying.
They do match your
And
outfit.
they
I may
match
be in
my
trouble.
It reminds me of Laverne and Shirley with the L. You can start to monogram everything you own.
This is lovely. This
Yes.
is lovely.
Well,
Thank
And we
you.
thought the crowns were perfectly suited to you. Speaking of crowns, last night, Sunday night, was the premiere of the latest season of Game of Thrones. Bobeth, did you get a chance to catch
I
it?
did not see it. I can't believe I missed it. I was watching Power, and then because, you know, it's an hour-long show, I was like, I don't want to be up so late.
Oh, yeah. And actually, a lot of people do that because Game of Thrones comes on later on Sunday. Sundays, they will record it and then watch it Mondays. So we made a pact.
Tonight.
We will not talk about it until tomorrow.
Thank you.
So if you're a Suncoast View viewer and you haven't
Don't
watched Game
tell
of
me.
Thrones, you have one day. No spoilers. All right, well, it is time for our first hot topic. And as downtown Sarasota tries to build a plan to better market itself, there seems to be mixed feelings on the messaging. The Downtown Improvement District met with other downtown merchant groups last month to create one broad marketing message for downtown Sarasota as a whole. The groups that were present represented neighborhoods from the Rosemary District on the north side of Fruitville all the way to Burns Court on the south of Ringling Boulevard. But some business owners expressed concern that one large marketing campaign would detract from the efforts of their individual downtown neighborhoods. In the past, we've seen smaller branding, for example, First Street merchants between Whole Foods and Starbucks. They have branded themselves Find It on First. Toll's Court has their own identity with their monthly art walks. Now, our downtown is not huge compared to other cities, of course, but do we think one centralized campaign could work?
I mean, if they do it right, it could work. My idea is that when more people come together, you have a larger pool of money. But if they don't, if they have to find a way to make specific areas get their share. So you can't just say downtown, because most people will think Main Street.
That's what I think of as downtown.
So you have to say downtown,
Burns Court,
downtown,
Toll's
this, yeah.
Court, Rosemary.
So-
And that's what makes it so great. There's so many different things in our downtown.
Well, if you think about the state of Florida has a campaign for all of Florida, and yet that doesn't detract or it doesn't compete with the St. Pete area or the Sarasota or Naples, which has their own branding too. So I think it all works together to support the whole idea. Get down here.
Yes, in theory, it is great, but I mean, let's be honest, a lot of these businesses are struggling. And they're just, you know, they're doing just enough maybe to pay their bills and keep open. Do they have the money to contribute to one large one plus their own individual one?
Well,
think
it helps
that'd be the
everybody.
issue.
If people come downtown to see Burns Court, they're going to go over to Main Street. So if we can get them downtown, I think they'll go to all points. But in these ads, they should stress how diverse it is and what
Yeah.
wonderful things there are to see.
So I think it really just depends on how they structure it. If they just say downtown, then those smaller businesses off Main may suffer, and that's probably the fear, because you don't want to not contribute to one campaign and then put all your hopes in another campaign that may not pan out.
And let's be honest, I mean, you know, it's better now that there are a few more parking garages coming, but we still don't have really a walkable downtown. You can't legitimately go from
Yeah, you can't
park in the
pass.
Rosemary District and walk to Burns Court or Toll's Court. It's
Well,
just
you
too
could.
Yes,
It's
but would
probably
you?
a quarter of a mile. You
Right.
could, but we just are not used to that. We really don't think that way.
But those free shuttles are there too, you know.
That's a great point. There are a lot of
So,
those
you know,
around
you
now.
can, you know, maybe if we have a couple more where they're stationed in certain areas, I don't know what the solution is, but I know that I wouldn't personally walk from Maine to Rosemary.
Yeah,
That's
it's a walk,
that's
but we're
distance.
very, you know, I think I speak for all of us, we're very excited to see downtown do everything they can to keep
You
their
know, I
doors
buy
open.
all my clothes downtown,
Good.
so I love downtown Sarasota, and the other parts. But I don't go to. I will go to downtown, then I'll go to Burns Court for dinner.
Right,
So,
right.
so I don't go to all of them at one
Well,
time.
keep
that's
spreading the wealth. That's what we're hoping for. Well, smaller airlines can often mean smaller fares, but how much are you willing to give up for that cheaper ticket? Passengers on an Allegiant Air flight from St. Pete Clearwater to Indiana were rerouted back to St. Pete when the air conditioning wasn't working. A spokesperson for the airline says that a faulty cooling valve was to blame. Now, no one has come out and said exactly how warm it got in the cabin, but by the time they landed, multiple passengers had fainted. Allegiant is not the only airline to make headlines for an uncomfortably hot flight, with United Air making headlines over the weekend for the same issue. But we have to acknowledge, I don't mean to pick on Allegiant, but they have made headlines in the last year for some of these mechanical problems. At what point do you say, all right, the cheap fare just isn't worth it?
Well, I say that right away. I just flew to Ireland, and yesterday, I think it was 8 hours and about 40 minutes back to Atlanta. Then I had to fly home. Not one moment of discomfort. They fed us like every 20 minutes. I saw 3 great movies and slept a little bit, so it was very, very comfortable. To save $100, I wouldn't change that.
See, but as a bargain airline shopper, I don't think that just because you buy a cheap ticket, with some exceptions, Spirit,
mentioning
you
names,
know,
Spirit.
yeah, with some exceptions, I don't think you're getting that much of different service, because a lot of them are using the same airplanes. A lot of them are, you know, with the exception you may have to pay for every single item, like food, your luggage, your this, your seat, you know, all those different things. Some of them are the same. You're getting, for the most part, the same service. And I think any airline would suffer a heat issue if they had some sort of shortage in this kind of weather. It's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't really blame Allegiant for that, but apparently there were some issues. They weren't even really handing out water, one of the reports says.
Yeah.
So, you know, it does say how they treat you. Now, this I thought was very interesting. There is currently no regulation that says how hot a cabin can get.
Well, people are passing out. It's
there's
too
a
hot.
group of
There's a clue.
there's a group
Your
of flight
health is in
attendants.
danger.
Yes, some flight attendants are actually trying to make it regulated so the cabin cannot be over 80 degrees.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Because I fly a lot, but I have loyalty to one airline because I get the points, and then I can
Sure.
start maybe getting a little few more benefits, and that's a great thing to do if you can log in with one and
Yeah.
start to build that. But my question is this. If you go to Google and search reviews, would you get reviews on Allegiant or Spirit or something that make you go, I don't want to run the risk? Because I understand bargain shopping, but what are the odds? Because I think
Yeah,
you're
what are the
saying
odds
that's
of that
not
happening?
Yeah.
normally going to
Sure,
happen.
sure.
right,
No,
yeah.
that's a very fair
And
question.
if it's a short flight.
I mean, you're
and
gonna-
you don't have a time limit if you're not pushed for time.
The complaints I've had with flying some of the other bargain airlines isn't, you know, hot or stuff like that. It's more like, okay, customer service getting on the plane. How quickly can I find a seat? Am I going to get a good seat? If I do ring the bell and ask for something, are they going to have it? You know, those kind of things. Or how much am I going to have to pay for a pillow? You know,
It's how it's
Is
handled.
the pillow
Yeah.
$30? You know, things like that.
For a clean glass, is it an extra?
Yeah.
Well,
$11.
actually, it's clean glass, that's very appropriate to our next story. Speaking of travel, now the last thing that you really want to have to think about when you're on vacation is how clean your hotel room really is. But experts say it's a bigger problem than you think. A recent study has shown that respiratory and gastrointestinal viruses can be lingering on many of the hotel room surfaces, including hotel phones and remote controls. These findings are not new and likely won't stop many of us from traveling, but we were able to dig up a few expert tips. The first is, they say, research the hotel beforehand, very much like Linda Larson was saying. Often searching the word clean will help yield better results. And they also say don't be afraid to call up a hotel and ask them their health score. You should also always give a quick visual check. The lobby should give a pretty fair indication, but you should also check once you're in the room. Check the sheets, mattress, and headboard for any signs of bed bugs. Also check the bathroom for any signs of mildew or hair in the drain. I know, I'm so sorry. Lastly, you should probably avoid all glassware unless you clean it yourself first. We've heard some horror stories on this show about glassware not getting clean, and I won't repeat it. Now, I have to say, do any of you actually do this when you go into a hotel?
I do more than that. I have a whole Lysol kit. I have the spray and the wipes that I travel with. I'll wipe down all the surfaces, the toilets. I even clean the bathroom to some extent, like the actual tub.
Once you come over to my house like once a day.
Or travel with me.
But I'm paranoid though.
Well, Linda,
So I won't sleep on the comforter.
Oh, my husband said, don't sit on the comforter, don't sit on the bedspread, because they wash everything else, but they don't wash that every time.
yeah, Linda Larson, you're in hotel rooms almost, you know, half your life. So do you have any tips when you go in?
Not a one. No, nothing.
You just build up a strong immune system.
Well, you know, it depends on the brand of the hotel as well. I know if I'm headed toward a certain
Yes.
brand of hotel, I might be really cautious when I go in there. But there are other brands of hotels where you can feel fairly secure.
Sure,
That is
sure. You can
true.
eat dinner off the carpet if you'd like.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
have some friends that actually travel with their own sheets. Like,
Oh.
Actually, one of the studies suggests doing that, and they say you don't want to be the friend that travels with your own sheets, but it says
Yeah.
it's. They also say bring a portable black light. Now, I think that might be a
That
little
might be
extreme
like
for
What do
me.
you see under the black light?
all of the
Things that
everything.
haven't
Bad
been
things.
cleaned.
Oh,
Let's
no.
just
Yeah.
leave it at
Oh,
that.
that scares me.
Should
I
I
will
have
say
one of
this,
those at home?
No.
Yeah, and just walk around.
I do travel with a pillow. For a couple of reasons. Frequently, the pillow in the room is not the kind of pillow you like. And secondly, how often do they change those pillows out and clean those
that's true.
pillows?
Sure, sure.
So I bring my own pillow. And by the way, I think it's the secret to coming out the other end of a trip and feeling good. Bring your own pillow.
Where do you put
Oh,
it? when
nice.
you're
It
traveling?
smashes down into nothing if you have your pillow. It smashes down and can protect your laptop
Love
if you
it.
have to check your bag that has the laptop
An
in it.
expert tip
Sure.
from an expert
There you
traveler.
go. I like
Well,
it.
before we head to weather, I wanted to show you all a little something from the queen of daytime TV herself. Yes, Oprah Winfrey is back with a new film, but her look is what everyone seems to be talking about. Disney is releasing a film based on the children's classic book, A Wrinkle in Time. And Oprah, stars alongside Mindy Kaling from TV's The Office and film actress Reese Witherspoon. They star as a group of time-traveling witches fighting evil and helping heroes
Oh, I just
along
saw
the way.
her.
Did you get a chance to see
Yeah.
Oprah? When she looks a little, it looks like a space, I keep thinking Muppets in Space version of Oprah.
I thought Storm from X-Men, but a little bit more exaggerated.
Yes, yes.
Let's see her.
There she is.
The
Oh,
white hair, the...
it's a little
yeah.
quick, but it is. It's like a
Oh.
Ziggy Stardust version of Oprah.
Oh, that looks like fun. I
Great
would like
movie
to
for the
see it.
grandkids, I think.
Yes.
And anytime we can say Oprah on the show, I'm always thrilled.
Yeah,
All right, well, it is time for our happy hour forecast. And when we come back, a cannot miss art collaboration across the Suncoast.
Thanks, Joey. We've got some storms around the area today. It's cooled things off if one happened to pass right over top of you, and it may even have more coming in tonight. But you can see on radar the whole state of Florida is lit up in some sort of showers and thunderstorms. Some of them have been heavy, especially up around Jacksonville down to Orlando. And we had one particularly heavy area that went right over Lakewood Ranch Parish and now moving into the Lakeland area. And it's probably see another one or two of those impulses come in later this evening and overnight. Some of them could produce locally heavy rain. Right now, 80 degrees at the airport, dew point 70. Temperatures will warm up a little bit as we move through the evening hours, as you can see in the forecast. The rain cooling, the outflow boundaries brought us into the upper 70s, but with the sun still up, it'll warm into the low 80s and then cool off to the mid 70s overnight. And the chance of rain anywhere 20–30%. Garden variety showers and thunderstorms across the Suncoast for the balance of this evening and even in the overnight hours. We have some tropics heating up. We'll tell you all about that coming up on ABC 7 News.
The Suncoast community is deep and talented, and that talent extends up and over the Skyway Bridge to St. Pete and Tampa. And the Ringling Museum is one of 3 locations hosting a collaborative exhibit featuring artists from all over Tampa Bay. Now, Ringling's curator, Christopher Jones, and Sarasota artist, Keith Crowley, are here to tell us all about the collaboration. All right, so Christopher, please explain to me how the collaboration works.
Sure, it's really exciting. It's actually an exhibition, one exhibition in 3 institutions.
Oh.
So it's here at the Ringling Museum of Art, also at the Museum of Fine Arts St. Pete and the Tampa Museum of Art. So we're all hosting the same exhibition of regional contemporary artists. And these are artists from Sarasota, Manatee, Hillsborough, and Pinellas counties. And all of the curators at these institutions, and myself, we actually reviewed artist submissions through an open call to artists last year. And we've got between 200 and 300 submissions last year. Out of that, we chose 57 to show throughout the Bay Area. So
Wow.
the artists are divvied up in all 3 institutions.
Well, that's a lot of submissions. So how did you, collaborate to get the different pieces that, how did you choose?
Sure. I mean, it was a really serious process. All the curators at the other institutions and myself, we formed a committee to review everything. We spent hours going through all the submissions and deciding on about 100 or so. And then we sent those to an outside juror, Diana Nowie, who's at the Perez Art Museum in Miami, and she was our outside perspective. And so she made some final cuts. And so it was really, it was actually a lot of fun for us to go through and choose things.
Wow.
And then we made final selections. After we chose the artists, we visited all those artists, looked at their work, and made final decisions as to what we wanted to show in the museums.
Well, that's amazing. Now, Christopher, you're one of the artists that participating. Tell me what people can expect to see.
You can see a really wide range of work in terms of the medium, and I would say the range in which the subjects of what people are dealing with. One thing you might also be interested in seeing at the Ringling, for instance, is even throughout our permanent galleries, an artist named Gary Schmidt used that as an opportunity to actually make a direct collaboration with the permanent collection. And in addition to our Monda Gallery space, which we've always sort of had in mind for contemporary art, and it's sort of a flexible new kind of space for us. And then at the other venues at Tampa, there's even more artists shown. There's 22 artists there, and you'll see a really wide range of work there, ranging from installation to large-scale sculpture to small paintings, photography. And then MFA St. Pete has equally wide range of artists selected.
Well, speaking of the wide range, what kind of inspiration does the Suncoast and Tampa Bay bring to some of the work?
I really can only speak for me specifically, and the first thing, I came here from Philadelphia 2.5 years ago, and the first thing that immediately grabbed me was the light and how it interacts with very ubiquitous forms of architecture, specifically residential architecture. Almost the more subdued, the better.
Oh, wow.
And the way the light plays off that thing, and industrial spaces and that sort of thing, they're very clean down here, as opposed to in Philadelphia, where I come from. There's usually a bit more of a feeling of grit. So this feeling of
architecture.
Yeah. Well, that was a bit of a transition, but it was one that instantly grabbed me as subject matter, and I've been kind of developing that ever since.
Cool.
All right, so Christopher, what are the benefits for the museums as they collaborate for this exhibit?
Well, I mean, it really helps strengthen ties, I think, throughout the arts community, you know, region-wide. It's always wonderful to be able to meet and work with, you know, my colleagues, and so we've developed and strengthened our working relationships, professional relationships. And, you know, each of our institutions serves our, you know, communities, and pooling our resources gives us a much larger reach to be able to access the community.
And should people be rotating through these, or is it the same exhibit?
Absolutely. You have to go see each one in each place.
Wow.
You've got to go over the Skyway Bridge, go over the bay to see
What cool
the show.
combinations of different artists that had to have been exciting and difficult to cluster together.
A lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. Really getting to meet everyone was like such a benefit to me.
All right, well, we want to meet it too and see the exhibit. Now, if you guys want to, you can definitely do that. You want to go over the Skyway Bridge for this exhibit. It's going to be on October 15th, and it'll be running at the Ringling through October the 15th. St. Pete Museum and the Fine Arts Museum of Tampa Museum of Art, and right here at home. So you can definitely get a full range by going to Ringling's website or go to skywaytampabay.com and get the full list of all the different locations. And next, Dr. Jenny will be helping us with our digestion. We'll be right back.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Until recently, getting older meant losing your energy, memory, sex drive, even gaining weight, but it doesn't have to.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jenny Wilkins, owner of Age Vital Pharmacy Research and Wellness. Reversing or slowing the effects of aging can be as simple as supplementing vitamins, minerals, and hormones that your body needs in order to look and feel young again. At Age Vital, we do this without taking harmful prescription drugs that often have a longer list of side effects than benefits. Growing older doesn't mean you have to feel older. Age well, Age Vital.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
And welcome back. Many of us are making a very serious effort to eat better and be more healthy. I know I am. However, if our digestive system is not working properly, we don't get the full nutrition benefits that we need from our food. Now today, Dr. Jenny Wilkins from Age Vital Pharmacy is here to talk about digestive enzymes and what that means. All right, so we can eat all the healthy food we want, but if we're not working properly, it won't help?
Yeah, well, remember, 90% of our crops are from GMOs, so that we're not pulling out the enzymes from all of the from the fruits and the vegetables that we should be pulling out if they're genetically modified. So this is why supplementing is so crucial and important, because every type of fruit has different types of enzymes in there that help metabolize.
And our body
everything
knows that?
And your body knows that. Yep.
Our mind does it? Pretty smart.
It's super smart. The most comprehensive piece of machinery on the planet. Everything has a function in there from what we eat. We don't eat just for fun. But I created digestive enzymes, you know, for just the regular lay people, because I started looking at so many different enzymes. I'm like, oh, this doesn't really work, or that doesn't really work, or they only have a couple, you know, 2 or 3. I have full systemic enzymes for even for little children that I developed.
What's happening to the food if we're not digesting it properly? Does it just pass?
No, it actually just stays in there and it causes bloatation. So then you feel bloated and full. Some people, you know, get full really quickly and they're not getting all the nutrition that they need because all of a sudden their stomachs go.
Oh my gosh, I have a week of meals.
Right,
in my
a
belly.
week, right. You're like, oh, what is that? Because it's not breaking it down. So if your body's not breaking down those foods into macro and micronutrients, then you're not feeding different systems of the body. So you're not getting the brain food that you need, you're not getting the muscular food that you need, and then you're not getting all of the foods that you need for energy.
How do we know that our digestive enzymes aren't working? Or
you can do simple laboratory work. Urine, blood plasma. I do offer the microscopies in-house, so patients will come in for a quick little 15-minute, and then I can look at the cells. Remember, we did a segment on the cells on there. So, and then based on, you know, the quality of your red blood cells, and I can see exactly what enzymes are missing. If you're having digestive issues, if you get gassy, you know, the GERD. A lot of people will get, you know, you can tell by the stools. You know, if you're poop, we did a, you know, what does your poo say? No, if it doesn't sink all the way to the bottom, then you know there's something.
What can we do to, what did you bring for us that can help?
Now, I have my Chew-Zymes. I developed that for my children and my elderly. A lot of elderly can't swallow pills, and little kids can't swallow pills. I actually did that for my kids. I'm like, how am I going to get you kids to, you know, get your enzymes, because you're not eating all your fruits and your vegetables. So I developed this little Chew-Zyme. They just chew it right before a meal, and then it helps them to absorb whatever foods that they're eating. So that's a full systemic enzyme. So it's got everything, you know, to metabolize proteins, carbohydrates, sugars, and fats.
Wow.
That's really what you're looking for, a full systemic enzyme. My microbiozyme is a full systemic enzyme plus all the good bacteria that's required to get rid of microorganisms that don't belong there. So a lot of people that eat bad sushi, that go to a bad, you know, foreign restaurant, you know, there's a lot out there, a little hole in the walls, and you're not quite sure if their, you know, their hygiene's the same that's required here. But that does happen. That's a problem.
And then, you know, we all have a weekend, you know, beer and wings or something. Is that what this last one's for?
The Cheat-Zymes, yes. My Cheat-Zymes are specifically for my cheaters that love to eat waffles and fries, and they're having beer, and, you know, they're just like, I'm just going to cheat and eat whatever I want. You take a couple of those right before you cheat, then you don't regret it the next day.
Okay.
All right.
And it makes, and pretty much these things help to make sure you, whatever you eat, you metabolize
Everything's,
it.
breaking down into its little macro and micro forms, and then your body's being fed, coming right out. All the toxins are being flushed out.
Well, I'm ready for a Cheat-Zyme.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite, my Cheat-Zymes, yep.
All right, well, you guys can get more information about all the different products at Age Vital Pharmacy by going to Dr. Jenny's website or going to her location off Main Street in downtown Sarasota. Next, we're going to find a book you can sit down with the kids and read. We'll be right back.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Since 1928, Karastan has been setting the standard in carpets and rugs, producing non-allergenic wools that won't promote the growth of bacteria or dust mites like other carpets will. Karastan wools actively remove contaminants from the indoor air, making your home healthier. And there are many colors and patterns and textures to choose from. Come see for yourself.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
I am a veteran. My victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
At DAV, we help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory was finishing my education.
My victory was getting help to put our lives back together.
DAV provides veterans with a lifetime of support.
My victory is being there for my family.
Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Welcome back to Suncoast View. If you're just joining us, we are in the kitchen today with Chef Paul from Madison's. And Chef Paul, you have an array of rosé wine. I have a question.
Okay.
You know, we know red, typically red for beef and white for fish. What does rosé go well with?
Everything in between. You know, spiciness works really well with rosé. But probably lighter style. Wouldn't do it with a real rich, heavy beef, but pork, chicken, a lot of fresh seafood. We're going to do it with tuna today, which is kind of a rich, darker colored fish.
And then you're going to have a wine dinner coming up. Whoa!
And a champagne
birthday.
dinner.
Yes, you're going to have a wine dinner coming up, and we're going to learn all about it
Yes.
later on in the show. But first, we're going to check in with some reading with Linda.
Summer days are long, especially for kids in need of something to do, and you can only use that iPad so long. We all know that. But it is the perfect time to find a good book, and Elsie Souza from Bookstore One is here with some great suggestions for parents and for grandparents. And with the iPad problem for parents, you got to cut it off, and kids don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Reading is the
Reading's
answer.
a great thing, and you know it's almost time to talk about school, so they should be starting ready for that too. And so we brought an array of things that would work for kids of all ages.
If you learn to read and love it, you'll never be bored.
Right, and they won't even know that they're learning to read,
Oh,
which
wow.
is a great thing.
Well, this is a cute thing down here. What is this?
So that's called King's Gold Game, and it's actually a game related to the Caribbean, and it's a dice game where you play out different scenarios. So they're actually learning how to count and do other kinds of things. So it's a cool thing to do without an iPad.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And they'll think this is close to an iPad because it's the same shape.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
And this one, who is Marie Curie?
So there's an entire array of books, who was whomever, and they're great fun. They're not long. You can digest it immediately, and you might become curious about becoming another Marie Curie. So good for them.
Very good.
And it's all people in history. They have in this series.
Exactly.
What a great way to get kids
Exactly.
into history.
There's like 100 different ones, and they're great.
Well, I'll read this while you go ahead then. That sounds good. What about this one about kid-friendly science? So that sounds like your husband. He must have read that early on. So what is this about?
Pop, sizzle, boom. It's all kinds of experiments that kids can do. Obviously, you know, they should be supervised. But wait a minute. I know, but it might be something parents and grandparents want to do with them. Exactly. So, you know, they're falling in love with science and having a good time in the summertime. It might occupy them for a couple of hours, which is a good thing.
I've got 4 grandchildren coming for a whole week next week, so I may need all of the above.
There you go. There you
Now,
go.
Star Wars, it's very big with the kids, and you've got a workbook, Star Wars workbook.
So there's an entire array of Star Wars workbooks for every level, and you know they're watching Star Wars and they love Star Wars, so they'll turn to a book and can pick it up and you know, do different things related. So good for them.
So learn how to read at the same time they think they're actually participating in something Star Wars.
There you go.
Yeah,
And they are.
this sounds a little scary. Kid chef.
Well,
Paul was probably
Chef
one.
Paul
He
would
knows
know
about
that.
this.
And his children, I bet, would love this cookbook, but they probably already cook with their dad. The thing is, you know, simple recipes. Some of them I was looking at, though, and they seem like they're pretty complicated, but kids are smart.
They're smarter than we think.
And they're also learning how to measure and do all these other kinds of things. Great recipes, everything from appetizers to main courses.
Wow.
That might be something you might be interested in with the kids next week.
That
or
might
not.
that may take a while, so that would be good. So what's the next one now? Summer Brain Quest. That might be something I need to work on with them.
Well, Brain Quest has been around for a long time. There's a series of cards
Yes,
that are involved.
I remember that.
I bet you do. So now they've come out with a series of books that might occupy somebody. Everything from history, geography, math, just going on and on and on. So this one's geared to 6th grade, but there's a whole array of them.
Anything to keep them busy.
There you go.
And what I like about these, especially the science one and this one, is that, you know, I think at that age, sometimes kids, school is school, and the subject matter can be fun, and they haven't yet made the connection that
There you
science
go.
can be fun, or, you know, or math or cooking can be fun.
Yeah, and I think the book industry has become very aware of all these kinds of things, so good for them. And the last thing is Dr. Eureka. It's a game, but how fun to do this scientific kind of thing using test tubes and all kinds of things. So that's a fun thing to do.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That sounds like fun. Now, I've heard about the Community Conversation Gallery, and I don't chime in because I don't know what it is. Fill me in.
So anyway, we have this wonderful space at 12 South Palm, our new address, and what we're offering to the community is, if the book clubs are forming for the winter already, it's time to start that in Sarasota. So we're offering a space for a group that's looking for a book club space that might be 12 people and under. They can come in and use our facility. All they have to do is, there are certain times that we're putting together with it, but we'd love to offer this space to anyone in the community. So it's a good thing.
Maybe we need a Suncoast View book club.
There you go.
Although we'd have to read the books. That would be
That would be fine. I'll read them for you.
All right.
Oh, I've always hoped that I would get locked in your bookstore some night and you just go home and leave me there overnight.
And
That
we
would be
can let
awesome.
you do that, too.
Meanwhile, you can find her online at Bookstore One, or you can go down there on Palm Avenue and Main Street. Thank you so much. And coming up now, we've heard a lot about salt therapy. Very interesting. We're going to find out exactly what it is coming up next.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
I'm Cindy Lou. I'm Susie. I'm Missy. And I'm Betty Jean. And we're the Marvelous Wonderettes. Mr. Sandman.
Experience the best girl group songs from the 50s and 60s live on stage at the Players Center July 12th through the 23rd. Call 941-365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. You'll fall in love with the Marvelous Wonderettes.
I'm so alone.
From our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is an ABC7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Scott Dennis. Here's what's coming up at 5 o'clock. A new report from a Wall Street credit firm predicts that online shopping will result in the closure of 25% of the nation's major retailers by 2022. How that prediction could impact the Suncoast. And the South Florida Museum is looking for someone who's energetic and loves manatees to play their iconic mascot, Snooty. Let's get a check on our weather now with meteorologist Steve Newman. Steve?
Hey, Scott, we've had some rolling thunder over the area and fairly heavy downpours right up the I-75 corridor about an hour and a half ago, and those storms have now moved in the central part of the state. Part of moisture package that will be around for the balance of the week. You can see all those clouds associated with it. The tropics are also heating up. We'll be taking a look at those at one particular feature right to the east of the Windward Islands coming up on ABC7 News at 5.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. Oh,
was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Well, there is a new trend in personal care called salt therapy. It involves breathable salt particles intended to improve respiratory functions. Here to tell us about salt therapy here on the Suncoast is Diana from Salt of the Earth. Welcome, Diana.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about this dry salt therapy. How does it work?
So dry salt therapy is where you would sit in a room, it's dry and it's cool, and you sit back and breathe in particles, salt particles that are ground in a generator, super fine, so that they can actually reach the bottom of your lungs, and they work like a toothbrush to clean your lungs.
These small salt particles will actually go into our lungs.
Correct.
And come back out?
Well, if you do have a blockage, yes, it will help the body to get that out.
So it'll sort of
naturally.
scrub it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So generators will blow the salt around the room. I understand you also have some other options in addition to the room where many people can be treated. Tell us about the beds.
So we have a salt bed. It's from Italy. We're the first ones in the United States to have this bed. Ooh. You actually lay directly in the heated salt. It also has a micro massage. So you won't feel a massage like traditional massage, but when you get off this bed, you feel completely relaxed and different.
I love it. It looks like a large Zen garden.
People come out of this room looking completely different from when they went in.
Wow. So is it almost like, you know, when you think of scrubs and salt, you think of, they put that in there. Is it almost the same kind of idea when you're scrubbing your skin with the salt?
So it's pink Himalayan salt that you're laying in that's heated, and when the salt is heated, it releases negative ions, which helps pull out toxins, brings down inflammation, helps with arthritis, joint pain.
So in addition to the bed, you also have I understand, a booth.
We do. So if you don't want to be in our large room, which seats 8 people at a time, we have a private session, which is our booth, and it does have Bluetooth. It has its own Bluetooth. You can listen to your own music in here. It also has light therapy, which is very soft, soothing colors that rotate throughout your 20-minute treatment.
So you're just sitting in what looks like about the size of a phone booth.
A little bit bigger.
Okay.
It's all glass.
And one of these lights is on or something like that?
No, actually there's a generator on the side of the booth that crushes the salt, basically pulverizes it so small that it can actually get into your lungs and reach the bottom of your lungs.
It looks so relaxing.
It really
And it isn't just for adults, I understand. You have some kids that come in for some salt
we
therapy.
actually have our own children's room.
Oh my
we have
goodness.
a room just for them. So they get to come and play, color, bring their own toys while having their own treatment. And this really helps for kids who have allergies and asthma, who have chronic sinus infections or ear infections. This is a great way for parents to help alleviate those symptoms without giving kids extra medication.
Well, let's talk about what this does, you know, what conditions that the salt therapy can help improve.
Right, so it's all kinds of respiratory issues from asthma, allergies, sinus, bronchitis, COPD, smoker's cough, but it's also great for the skin. So for eczema, rosacea, acne, it helps, again, pull out the toxins and brings down the inflammation.
I feel like we need to be in one.
I'm so curious about this because, you know, you think of salt and you always say you can't eat too much of it.
Right.
But here you are playing or laying and getting massages in areas where salt is the main component.
Correct.
How does that work?
So pure salt is actually good for you. Pure salt has 80 to 84 trace minerals in it, which our bodies need to help us flush out the toxins that we eat on a daily basis. Where table salt is not good for you because they've actually removed all of the minerals that helps your body flush out.
And salt is sterile, correct?
Correct. Salt is naturally antibacterial, antifungal, and antimicrobial.
So our concerns about
No.
being in a room with someone who has bronchitis and is going to be treated,
Correct.
we don't have to worry that we're inhaling their
You're not
salt.
necessarily going to catch anything for anybody now.
This sounds fantastic.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah, you
so
have
you can have these in your home.
Yes, so we offer a large range of sizes and shapes of salt lamps, which help clean the air in your home and also helps with electromagnetic fields in your home, your router, your computer, your phone. It helps keep that away from the physical body.
All right, well, you can check out Salt of the Earth. They are on Clark Road in Sarasota. You can also find them online, SOTE, Sarasota.com. Next, Linda Carson shares some pictures from her birthday trip to Ireland. We'll be right back.
Rose takes her volunteering for Tidewell Hospice very seriously. But she knows how to have fun, too. And that's what she brings when we're invited to visit patients as part of Tidewell's pet therapy program. People love to see her. She really brightens their day. She makes people smile. And in end-of-life care, a smile can be a wonderful gift. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffy Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke, it's a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
Linda Carson just returned from her trip to Ireland, and we've been waiting all hour. We want to see some pictures.
Oh, it was the best, one of the best weeks of my life. I took my 8-year-old granddaughter and my daughter-in-law, and we traveled with a tour group all over Ireland. Those are the Cliffs of Moher. It did not rain. It can rain every day there, but it never rained, so we had a wonderful view. And you know, there's so much beautiful, there are beautiful mountains, and then there's the Atlantic Ocean and the Irish Ocean, and beautiful, beautiful greenery, and of course the castles. I will never again ask to live in a castle. You have a lot of teeny, teeny, tiny steps, then a tiny little room, and no toilets. So it would be very inconvenient. This is Killary, and this is we're going for a jaunt. With the horses. So this was really beautiful. We went into the second largest park in Ireland and rode all around it, and then we toured the castle that was there.
Oh, wow.
Of course, this was cathedral, but it had been an old prison. A lot of people had been executed there.
Wow.
They tore the prison down and built a beautiful cathedral on top of it, of course, 100 years ago.
Did they say it's haunted?
It is beautiful. It just shows you can take evil and turn it into good.
Yeah.
So that was a memorable thing.
Speaking of turning evil into good.
I kept a wire between us, so there was no danger of being knocked over. But I was glad to see that there were goats in Ireland, too.
That are friendly.
How beautiful. Well, Linda is going to be showing more pictures from her trip all week, and we can't wait to hear more great stories. But first, we are going to be heading into the kitchen with Chef Paul, and we're going to try some rosé.
Start your day with a new Good Morning Suncoast team. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
From our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is an ABC7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Scott Dennis. Here's what's coming up at the top of the hour. A Florida county will no longer require homework from its elementary school students. The move is now prompting conversations among school officials in Manatee County. Now let's get a check on our weather with meteorologist Steve Newman.
Hey, Scott, from our brand new NOAA 16 GOES 16 satellite, you can see the resolution is really improved with every 5 minutes. These are the storms that developed right along the I-75 corridor earlier today and moved northward through Lakewood Ranch and now focused right in the heart of Florida, up around Lakeland. Some had a lot of lightning and heavy rain. It's part of what we're going to see all week with this moisture coming in from the south. And we also have the tropics are beginning to heat up. Coming up on ABC 7 News at 5, I'll tell you all about an invest right to the east of the Windward Islands, and if it could potentially threaten the Suncoast. Details coming up.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Coming up Tuesday on Suncoast View, the temperature is soaring and the air conditioner never stops running. As the temperatures get higher, we'll learn how to lower our electric bill with some expert tips. Molly's Boutique has the must-have beach items for the whole family, plus fun flavors of frozen custard from Smack's Burgers, and Apollonia Mediterranean Grill is in the kitchen.
And we are in the kitchen with Chef Paul Madison from none other than Madison's. Hi, Chef Paul.
Hey, Linda,
what
how
are
are
you making for us today?
It smells so amazing already.
Doesn't it, though? What are you doing?
We're having fun. We're first, I'm sauteing a few shiitake mushrooms, a little bit of scallion, a little green onion, and what we're going to make is a little bit of rice to go with our dish. We're going to sear a piece of tuna with a little togarashi spice. Togarashi is kind of the Asian version of almost like a blackened seasoning.
Oh.
So it's going to give us a little bit of heat. And then Beth, I'm going to put you to work.
All right.
I want to make a little, kind of a little fruit salad there. So there's watermelon,
Okay.
cantaloupe, little honeydew.
Wow, this sounds good.
A little bit of that. Don't put too much of that. Just a drizzle of that. That's sesame oil.
Sounds
Good.
good.
A little sesame oil goes a long way.
It does. It does.
All right.
Yes.
Any of these?
Cilantro, sure. Yep. Go ahead with that.
All right, I'm going to assume a pinch.
A pinch. Correct. Good assumption.
Now pour this whole thing.
What is it?
I don't know. No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
And then yuzu, a dash of that. That's a Asian citrus.
What is it called?
Yuzu. Y-U-Z-U.
Yuzu.
Yeah, you can use it in making different dressings and different things.
Jumping on Bobette.
There you go.
I guess I should have used the spoon.
You're doing great.
Oh, you are
I should have tossed the saddle, literally.
So that was just plain white rice?
Yeah, it's a sushi rice, which is a real sticky rice.
Stickier?
Yep, so that was cooked, and then I'm sauteing that with a little bit of sesame oil again, and shiitake mushrooms. Did you use all the cilantro? Yeah, still make up. There we go.
Beg, borrow, and steal.
Yeah,
so
that's
that was
good.
a pretty hot pan for the tuna. How long does it cook?
You just want to get a sear on all 4 sides, and I usually put the togarashi spice primarily just on one side, because it's enough.
Okay.
It gets enough heat.
And then a couple seconds on each side till it's white.
Yeah, now we can leave it a little rare in the center. You can cook it all the way through, depending on what you like. Tuna, I like to keep it a little bit more rare, medium rare. It just keeps it a lot softer in flavor.
So you
I'd love to
mentioned-
see you do that. Yeah, right?
You mentioned this is one of the meals on your wine dinner. Tell us about the rosé, because you seem like you brought a whole slew of them, and everyone is drinking something different.
And everyone's drinking rosé these days, or they should be. It's that time of the year. So yeah, we brought a lot of different ones. I brought 2 sparkling. One is sweet, one is not so sweet.
Okay.
So the Brut is the dry, which is the first one. The last one is called a Cremant, which is an indication for sweet wine in a sparkling. You'll find
That's
that.
what I have. It's delicious.
Yeah, and so that's going to be our dessert wine. And then in the middle, we've got a few still wines. There's one from Italy, which is a blend of some Sangiovese grapes, the grapes we use in Chianti. And then we go next to Benziger. This is a little Grenache and a little touch of Syrah. From Oregon, all Pinot Noir. And then, Joey, you're drinking that Tavel. Tavel is kind of where rosé started. Southern France, Provence. So that's a blend of Grenache, typically Cinsault, and also some Syrah in that one as well.
So the idea behind rosé, like at one point it almost was like passé to say you wanted a rosé or drink rosé. Now it's actually a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because in this country anyway, rosé became white Zinfandel. So it became a very sweet wine.
Which I like.
Which is okay.
So coming back to the rice dish now, you're stacking your rice?
Yeah, just for fun. Why not?
Oh, good. Yeah, sure. Have rosé. Why not?
So, but rosés traditionally, typically, like the one you're drinking there, Joey, the Tavel, was never a sweet wine. It was always made dry.
Yeah.
And it goes with so many dishes, especially in the warm time of the year. It's a great wine to drink. And it's becoming more popular again. People are taking it seriously again. They're realizing it's not just a sweet wine for the not so wine drinker, so to speak.
Sure. Like people used to get picked on. I'm not going to say any names, Linda. Carson.
My husband said he was ashamed to go out to dinner with me because I drank white rosé.
And look
white
at you.
Zinfandel.
You were just ahead of the trend.
Ooh.
So,
do you want the slice?
Doesn't that look kind of fun?
So, Chef Paul, you have the tuna sitting out. Is it resting? And what is the purpose of resting?
So that as you slice it, typically you want to do that with beef, because when you go to slice it, you know the juices are all going to run out of it. Tuna is not so necessary to do that with, because it's firm enough that it's really not gonna bleed on you, so to speak, or juice on you. But we do keep it nice and rare because
There's a rainbow of summer flavors.
He just makes it so easy.
And I think that I've always found with rosé, spicy dishes, Asian style dishes work really well. This is a little tamarind glaze. It's just a little sugar and water and some fresh tamarind.
Great.
I'm just going to do a few little dots of.
All right, as you're finishing plating, we will start to say our goodbyes. We're going to remind everybody that there is that rosé wine dinner coming up on July 24th. You can find out more information by going to madisons.com. Thank you, Chef Paul.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Everybody.
Linda Larson, thank you so much. It's great to have you.
Thank
and Linda
you.
Carson, we're so glad you're back.
I'm so glad to be back.
Yes,
It was
we're going
fun
to find
away, but I
out more
miss you
about Linda
guys.
Carson's
I'm
trip
not your-
all week. We'll
Yes,
be
you
seeing
do.
pictures from the Irish. In the meantime, don't forget, take some time, enjoy the Suncoast view. We're going to dig into some tuna.